It was the cold winds of October 2014, and the glow of Diwali was eager to touch the sky. In a school in Gurgaon, art teacher Momita Das and her friend, Abhijit Paul from Kolkata, sat in their rented house in Lado Sarai, South Delhi, planning their Diwali vacation. This time, they intended to celebrate Diwali not amidst the bustling city streets, but in the mysterious hills of Uttarakhand. On October 21st, they set off for Dehradun, their bags filled with dreams and eyes brimming with excitement. But what began as a journey, promising unforgettable memories, soon turned into a dark mystery. What happened to Momita and Abhijit in Uttarakhand? Who was behind this incident? And what was the reason behind it? Let's unravel the details in this story. The golden sun of October was setting over the chilly valleys of Dehradun, and for Momita Das and Abhijit Paul, the past 2 days had been nothing short of a dream. On the first night, they lit earthen lamps in the balcony of their small guest house. The air was filled with the subtle fragrance of fireworks, and the plate of sweets on the nearby table reflected the sweetness of their friendship. An old radio in the guest house played a forgotten melody softly. Momita called her father, Mrinal Krishna Das. "Baba, there is magic in this air. Our Diwali will be truly special." Meanwhile, Abhijit was telling his mother in Kolkata, "Ma, lighting lamps in the mountains is far better than the city lights." Their voices carried joy, and their phone calls spread that happiness miles away. The second day was even more delightful. They sipped morning tea while admiring the mist-covered mountains, took a stroll through the streets of Dehradun, bought clay toys from a small shop, and in the evening visited a nearby temple. That night, once again, it was all about lamps, laughter, and conversations with loved ones over the phone. But then, the evening of October 23rd took a dark turn. As the sun set, an eerie silence descended. Back in Delhi, Momita's father, Mrinal Krishna Das, couldn't sleep. Every hour, he would pick up his phone, dial Momita's number, and hear the same disheartening message. "This number is currently switched off." In Kolkata, Abhijit's mother also clung to her phone throughout the night, but only silence answered from the other end. Initially, both families assumed it was a technical issue, perhaps a weak signal in the mountains. Maybe the battery had died. But as hours turned into days, and the afternoon of October 24th passed without any contact, an unsettling anxiety gripped Mrinal's heart. His wife asked, "Do you think something is wrong?" Mrinal didn't answer. He simply picked up his coat and walked towards Saket police station. On the morning of October 29th, a missing persons report was filed. Momita Das, 27 years old, and Abhijit Paul, 24 years old, missing. In Kolkata, Abhijit's father stormed into the Dum-Dum police station, his trembling voice filled with both anger and fear. "Where is my son? Find him!" As soon as the report was filed, the police retrieved Momita and Abhijit's call details. The investigation revealed that on the evening of October 23rd, they had made multiple calls to a particular number. The inspector dialed the number, but the response was the same. Switched off. The probe continued. Further investigation identified the number as belonging to one Raju Das. When the police called his number, they discovered that Raju Das's phone had also been switched off since October 23rd, the same day that Momita and Abhijit's phones went dark. The room fell silent. A constable asked, "Sir, is this a coincidence?" The inspector's eyebrows furrowed. Coincidence? No. This is the first dark thread of a conspiracy. Outside, the rain had begun to pour, and the truth hidden in the hills of Dehradun was now eager to reveal itself. What had happened that night? Who was Raju Das? And into what darkness had Momita and Abhijit's dreams disappeared? The police investigation had reached a point where every clue birthed a new question. The inspector ordered the tracing of Momita's, phone IMEI number. The room was silent. The only light flickering was from the computer screen. A constable sifted through the data and suddenly froze. "Sir, look at this!" His voice carried urgency. The screen displayed a shocking revelation. Mumita's phone, which had been off since the night of October 23rd, was turned on again on the morning of October 24th. However, it now had a new SIM card registered under the name Mohan Das. Who is Mohan Das? And how did he get Mumita's phone? The police launched an extensive search for Mohan Das, scouring the narrow streets of Dehradun and checking local SIM card registers. Finally, his name surfaced in a small shop's register. He was a man living on the outskirts of Dehradun. The police jeep screeched to a halt at his doorstep. Mohan, a frail, middle-aged man, stood at the door, trembling. "I sold the SIM to someone," he stammered. "To whom?" the inspector demanded. Mohan hesitated before muttering a name. "Raju Das." The room fell silent again. For the second time, Raju's name emerged from the shadows like a ghost that refused to stay buried. "Who is this Raju?" The inspector gritted his teeth. The answer was still hanging in the air, but one thing was clear. Everything revolved around him. Meanwhile, a phone call shook Chakrata police station. A body has been found in the forests of Parola. The inspector immediately requested photographs. The file opened, and as soon as the image appeared on the screen, Amitabh's breath hitched. His eyes widened in shock, lips quivering. This is Abhijit." His face was bloodied, eyes closed, yet a faint remnant of his familiar smile lingered. Joyanta gasped, covering his mouth. The body was horrifying to behold. Clothes torn, scratches on the face, and wrapped in raw forest soil as if dragged and dumped there. But where was Mumita? There was no trace of her. Had she met the same fate? Or was she still alive somewhere? And the murderer, the devil orchestrating this horror, was still hidden behind a veil of mystery. The police intensified their search and finally caught Raju Das. Under pressure, he confessed. He had lured Mumita and Abhijit to Tiger Falls, where his three accomplices, Kundan Das, Gudu, and Bablu, joined them. They made lewd comments about Mumita, enraging Abhijit. A fight broke out, and the three strangled Abhijit with a rope, later dumping his body in a gorge. They then assaulted and killed Mumita, disposing of her body in the Yamuna River. All four were arrested and sentenced in 2018. Raju received 10 years, while the others got 7 years each. The families of Mumita and Abhijit found a small solace in knowing that justice, though delayed, had been served. However, in 2024, a cruel twist unraveled their sense of closure. The High Court overturned the decision, citing lack of evidence, and all four were acquitted. The courtroom fell into an eerie silence, as if time itself had frozen. The families of Mumita and Abhijit stared in disbelief, their hands trembling, their eyes welling up with tears of anguish. Years of struggle, endless nights of grief, and the desperate hope for justice had all come crashing down in a single moment. The criminals walked free, their lips curling into sinister smirks, as if they had just won a game where the rules never applied to them. Outside the courtroom, reporters swarmed the scene, microphones thrust forward, but no words could capture the sheer helplessness that engulfed the grieving families. Justice had not only failed, it had abandoned them. This case proved that sometimes justice is not blind, it simply refuses to see the truth.